Hi everyone, this is my first time to the meetup group, and I'm a data scientist in the Bay Area, and I've been working with Hops on some open source project, pro-social open source project, and today I want to show you guys how I set up Sublime such that I can easily edit and linting the code such that it is more conforming to the Python code standard. So the code standard that I'm referring to is PEP8, and it has like suggestions about how do you indent things, how do you define the functions and all that. And I learned to set up Sublime such that it helps me to do those things automatically and helps me to avoid those errors. And the whole point of having these kind of naming conventions and standardization is to improve the readability such that even I'm passing my current project to another person, the other person can just pick it up more easily than I just randomly name things as A or XYZ and so on. So before I go into how do I set up this auto formatting, I would like to talk about how do you set up Sublime first to do all that. So I know we were talking about IDEs, but I actually got used to using the text editor and just edit things in this IDE. And the way that this auto formatting works on Sublime is using a package called Anaconda. So before I can run those auto formatting, then I need to first install the Anaconda package. So I first install package control. And then the next thing is I install Anaconda. Install package, and then I pick Anaconda. So, all right, now you can see it says Anaconda is installed. And then the next thing is I want to update the Python interpreter. So I go into settings and default, and then I look for interpreter. So I need to check where my Python is first, and then copy the where my Python interpreter is, and then I saved it here. The reason why, usually if you just install Anaconda as it is, you don't have to do that, but the reason I'm doing this is because I'm installing Miniconda instead of Anaconda, and then for some reason, they don't pick up the path, that environment path of Miniconda, so I have to update it here. So after I save this setting, let me restart Sublime. So here it is. So the next thing is I want to show you, after I set up the Anaconda package and then I updated the Python interpreter, then let's say if I already have a project, then I don't have a project, but I want to add some folders and start a project. Then I would go to here, and then I select the folder I want, and then it would display it here. So I can check all the directory, all my files here, and then so now I can display and see how we use the auto formatting and showing different errors. Yeah. So for example, this is the right way, right? You put a space next before the equal sign, but let's say I just didn't do it right. I added a path. I'm missing a space here, and then for example, and then another error here is that I imported the pandas package, but actually never use it in this file. Let me just so what I need to do is that first of all, I want to be able to view all the errors. So when I right click here, then it would show me these are the two mistakes that I'm making in this particular file. So after I see that, then the next thing I can do is here it says auto format pipe 8 errors. So when I click that, it automatically adds the space here for the one this kind of errors. Then the Anaconda package would help me to auto format that. And then the other one that because it is something, it's not like a space or formatting error, is something I need to delete it out myself. So you can see a white dot here to remind me, oh, this is still some mistakes that you need to fix. So for example, I would just take it out and then the white dot is gone. And so this is the auto formatting part that is really useful for me to improve the readability of my code. Because if you just use Vim or something like that, I wouldn't be able to catch this kind of formatting error. And or you can use other linter like PyLint as well. But this one comes easily usable on Sublime. And then there are some other cool functions that I just want to share with you guys and on Sublime that helps me with my project development. So for example, here, let's say I defined a variable here called Winnie path, and then I'm importing it. I'm importing this into another file, and I want to see the definition of. I want to see the definition of this name. Then what I can do is, for example, I can search for this variable using Ctrl+Shift+F, and then I say the path that I want to see everything that shows up within this directory, and I want to see anything that mentions this particular name. And what I do here is that I say help me to search for all the results that shows this variable within this particular directory, and I only want to look inside any Python files. And here it says I only want to search as a whole word. So what it does is that it search through all these files within this subdirectory, and then it shows me any time this variable appears. And then if I want to, after I search, I want to click into a particular file, then I can just double click here and the original file will show up. So it looks not quite usable, like it's not saving you extra amount of time in here because it just have two Python files, right? But imagine if you have like multiple submodules and then you want to see the dependencies between different files. This is a great way to navigate all different subfiles. And then the next thing, for example, is that here, when I click Ctrl+Shift+F, I was able to find all the naming that says Winnie path. What if I don't want to, what if I want to change the name of this variable into another variable? Then let's say San Diego Python user group path, for example. So I want to replace all these mentions of this variable into another variable. Then what I can do here is just that I can click replace, and then it doesn't automatically update, it doesn't save the file for you, and then it just replaces the variable, and then you can review each of them. When it makes sense, then you just save the file here. And here, after I review it, then I save it again. So this is, it helps me a lot of times when I need to rename something quickly, and I want to make sure all the other dependencies are also following this naming convention, and I don't have to do it one by one by hand, because that I might miss something, and my whole code breaks down. And then just another quick thing that I found pretty useful is multi-line control. So for example, here, these three variables all have new underscore to it, and I don't really want to, I don't really want the new in front of these three variables. So then what I can do is Control Shift down arrow. It is Shift. So it is Shift down arrow. And so what it does is that my cursor is going across multiple lines, and then since I say I want to get rid of the new underscore, then I can just click backspace and then get rid of things that I don't want. And then when you want to get out of this multi-line cursor, you can just click escape, and then it would do the trick. So all this helped me with my code development as I add more modules to my different projects, or when you have you need to submit your code for review before deadline, and you need to make a lot of changes, and you want to improve the readability of the code. All these different tricks help me to save a lot of time, and I hope that this will help you to save your time as well. So, thank you.
Thank you. Multi-line editing always terrifies me. Any questions before we move on to the last speaker?
Did you get it working where you can automatically on save have it automatically fix all the PEP8s, or did you have to manually go to that fix them all menu item?
I think when I click save, it will automatically auto format.
Awesome.
Last thoughts?
I love how that was. She opens it up. She goes, "This is a simple text editor," but then there's so much you could do with it, like install pieces of, Python code and tell it preferences and dig into packages and search. It looked pretty beefy.
I mentioned in the chat there's a pre-commit that you can add to your Git hooks. If you go into git.git, there's something called hooks, and those hooks get calls at certain times when you do Git commands. When you do a check-in, it'll call the pre-commit hook, and you can add the PEP8 formatting to the pre-commit, so that if you try to check something into source control, it'll reject it. If it's not PEP8 compliant, it'll also fix it. And that way, hopefully you can keep your source control clean.
Thank you.